This is the game changer. What you have here is smell. Hi, today I'm gonna show you how to make a T-bone steak on the Weber Kettle. So let's do it. When you buy an expensive cut like the T-bone, you gotta make sure you cook it properly so you get the most out of your money. And when you go to the butcher or to the supermarket, you gotta check that your steak has a good marbling, and that means like this white traces of fat within the meat. That's the first sign that it's gonna help you to get a very good steak. How to cook it? Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna dry brine it. That actually means I'm just gonna put salt to the steak and I'm gonna put it to the fridge. In theory, the best thing to do is to put it in the fridge overnight. But if you cannot do it at least 2 hours. This one that I have right here, it has been already in the fridge for 3 hours. So you can actually see how it got very nice color. And then the next step, once you have your steak like this, is that we're gonna cook it. I am going to reverse sear the steak, which actually means I'm gonna cook it first with indirect heat at a very low temperature. So the pit is going to be 120 degrees Celsius. And then when the steak reaches an internal temperature of 46 degrees Celsius, then I'm gonna add hot coals and I'm gonna sear the steak. So right now I'm gonna light up the Weber kettle and I'm gonna let the steak sit at room temperature. Because if I cook it out of the fridge or straight from the fridge, it's gonna cook unevenly. So I want that the temperature internally stabilizes before I put it to the grill. So I'll see you guys in a minute, and still stay tuned because I'm gonna give you other tips on how we're gonna cook this one. See you. So in order to achieve the 120 degrees Celsius, I'm going to add first 6 briquettes to the cooking chamber. And then I'm gonna keep the lower vent in the smoking position and my upper vent is gonna be open halfway through. And then when the internal temperature of the steak has reached the 45-46 degrees Celsius, then we're gonna sear it. And the idea is that we remove it from the grates when the internal temperature is 55 degrees Celsius, because while we let it rest, we know that the carry-on heat will take the internal temperature to some 58 degrees Celsius, and that's exactly what we're aiming at today. So it's time now to put the steak to the grill. Okay, so let's put the steak here where there is indirect heat. So I'm just gonna take it like this, and it comes here to the grill. And now I'm gonna insert my probe so that I can actually follow up what is the internal temperature of the steak. So I think if I put it like this, that's gonna be a good one. Okay, and so the next step, if you want, you can add here some wood chips or wood chunk for some smoke flavor on the steak. In my case, I have these wood chips, hickory, and I'm gonna add them because I think that gives a very nice flavor to the steak. So I'm gonna open here, and I'm gonna put just a handful of them. Okay, and now for the time being we will just let it be. So I show you maybe in half hour how does it look like. So after 30 minutes we have reached the desired internal temperature. So now let's add the hot coals, let's sear the steak and let's finish it. So the steak is looking very good. So now this is the moment where I'm gonna remove the probe, and I will remove the steak from here, put it here in the meantime. And when the internal temperature of the steak was to 30 degrees, I added another chimney started with briquettes, and now it's fully hot. So I'm gonna add it here, and then I'm gonna show you how we're gonna finish this steak. So we have now our hot coals here. I would say that this is like high heat because I can barely keep my hand for 3 seconds. So here we have the steak, and let's do something that is gonna definitely improve your game with this steak. First, let's put it here where there's the indirect heat. And then what we want to do is that we want to add a little bit of pepper on both sides. Let's start with this one. This is where we're gonna start searing it. This is just some normal ground pepper. Looks good. And this is the game changer. What you have here is melted butter. So this is gonna help with the searing of the steak, and it's gonna help to create a very nice crust. So you can either just drip it like this, or you can just brush it as you please. Be careful so that you don't remove your pepper and cover it properly. And what we're gonna do next is that we are gonna sear it for 1 minute or minute and a half from each side. And you can just turn it as many times as you want, but keep track so that is that amount of time per side. So now that we have enough butter covering this part, let's start searing it. Let's take it, and it comes right here. There you go. And while it is still like this, let's add a little bit of more butter from this side. And then let's add the pepper, and we're gonna repeat this process all the time. Now that we have done it, it's time to move the steak. Let's put it here. And like always, for a big cut of steak like this, you have to let it rest 10 to 15 minutes. So I will let it rest, and then I'll show you guys how does it look like. So the steak has rested for 15 minutes and I cannot wait any longer. It's time to cut to it. So I'm just gonna cut one small part from here in the center, and look at that, it just looks amazing. It looks delicious, so I got to taste it. Let's see. This steak tastes delicious. I hope you give it a try. If you enjoyed the video, please press the like button, subscribe, so that you can see more videos in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you the next time. Bye.